Nothing instills more fear in a new painter than muddy colors. Oh, the shame. I'm here to relieve you of the shame and dispel the fear. And if you didn't think I was already creatively certifiable, you surely will now. So enter my creative experiment, friends, that I hope dearly you'll paint along with me. Don't be scared. This is gonna be fun. We are going to fill an entire page with a loose flower pattern entirely without rinsing our brushes. Oh yeah, not once, nope. Dirty brush all the way through. What's that? I think I can hear the collective screams of art teachers worldwide. Rules of the game, friends. Number 1, one brush, let's keep it simple. Number 2, one dip into water as needed is allowed, but no swooshing or anything that resembles a rinse. And number 3, purposely force yourself to go from pinks to greens and other mud-inducing color wheel opposite combos as you go. Okay, now before you leave, because I know some of you are like, I'm out, girl. I am very comfortable with double dipping on my palette. You can check out the video below where I talk about how I'm like anti-color mixing, but I completely understand and respect that many of you are not. So if you have kind of a junky palette, maybe it's a Crayola, maybe it's something that you don't mind quote unquote messing up a bit, grab that palette and stick with me. I promise it'll be worth it. And if you're still too freaked out to do this, just hang out with us and watch, because I think you'll be inspired. Okay, last thing. This is not a how to paint cute flowers tutorial. This is a let's make a mess and have fun doing it kind of tutorial. Okay, let's start off slow. So mud usually happens when you mix together opposites on the traditional RGB color wheel. So we've got a green and a pink. So basically you mix those together. Let's see what happens. You're gonna get an interesting, more muted greenish pink, right? But that doesn't look terribly muddy, does it? All right, let's try this again with a blue and its opposite on the standard color wheel, which we know is the orange. They're the clean versions. Now I'm using a Handmade watercolor palette. These are custom blends, so these are not like primaries. And clean blue again, not rinsing my brush, adding the orange. That's definitely a muddy color, but it's not a bad color, right? It's actually kind of cool and rich and interesting. All right, friends, I think you see where I'm going here, but let's dive in. Okay, start off, grab your favorite color on whatever palette you're using. Make sure to spray down the palette so your colors are nice and juicy and ready to go. And then go right back in, friends. Now I'm going easy on myself. I went from that bright fluorescent pink to a red, which is not going to make a muddy color because those are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So they're gonna blend nicey nice. Going into an orange, haven't rinsed my brush. Remember, friends, you can certainly dip your brush in water if you need to reload, and you're gonna need more moisture on that brush as you go, but no swooshing. We don't wanna rinse this brush. Fight the urge, you can do it. Okay, here's where things get interesting. Going for a green. The green is definitely muted compared to what would have happened if you had rinsed, but it's still a really pretty green. Okay, remember friends, this is not a tutorial about how to make a really cute composition. I am literally being extremely intuitive here. I am focusing on the color and the palette and all that kind of stuff. Okay, going from green to blue, which is not gonna be a mud-inducing color combination, certainly not. All right, going back to orange, baby. You knew I was doing it. You knew I was doing it. Now I didn't pick up, I must not have had too much blue on my brush at that point. So I'm kind of cheating. I grabbed that kind of terracotta pink there. All right, friends, look at what happened at the very top middle. Look at that gorgeous peachy color that happened. And that is because there was some residual green underneath. And as I stroked out the color and let the color run out on my brush, that green started to reveal itself. It was nestled down in the bristles, deeper in the brush. And oh my gosh, that peachy tone is so gorgeous. All right, so I've got greens on my brush. I got pinks, I got some blues, I got some oranges, and I went into purple. And that purple is still looking pretty darn purpley, wouldn't you say? Back to some fluorescent pink, and there I go right back into the greens, my friend. So this is basically what we're doing. We're going back and forth with all the colors and purposely trying to make mud and not rinsing our brush at any point in this process. And I think what you're starting to see, friends, well, hopefully, number one, you're starting to discover a little bit about color mixing and the very basics of what happens when you mix opposites on the traditional color wheel. But number two, I hope you're actually feeling a little bit of freedom, and some of that fear about muddy colors is kind of melting away from you, right? I think there's such a stigma about painting muddy and letting your paint get muddy and having a mud painting. And now I'm just making up phrases. But seriously, I don't mean to make fun or poke fun. I just like to show you the light side of things, and I want to give you freedom, and I am desperately seeking creative ways every day to free you up on this journey. All right, friends, if you're having fun so far and you've had an aha moment with this video, and I have a feeling maybe you've had an aha moment, I want you to head into comments and let me know. Let's start a discussion down there, and you can certainly tell me I'm actually insane. I won't get my feelings hurt, I promise. And friends, if you're painting along, go ahead and tag me over on Instagram because I want to see what you're working on. Just continuing on here, I am making sure to really challenge myself by loading up a lot of pigment on my brush, because one way of cheating at this exercise, and you know I'm a creative cheater. I like to paint in a way that makes me feel more joyful. But when it comes to exercises, I like to be a little more strict. So I learned something, right? So make sure you're loading up that brush with a lot of juicy color, so that when you dip into that opposite color next without rinsing, you're really getting the effect of what happens when you're forcing yourself to mix a potentially muddy color. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yes, that's right. Kristy is in your head. I know some of you are sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, my palette is so flippin' dirty right now. What am I gonna do? And you're thinking about this so much that you're not actually present in your muddy painting challenge. So friends, there's a video below that tells you how to quote unquote clean your palette after an exercise like this. And it's a way that you can clean the palette without wasting a single drop of pigment. So check that out after you finish this challenge. Okay, friends, now some of you might be wondering, is she actually recommending that we never rinse our brush? No, friends. Clearly, clean, vibrant, pure color is the mainstay of your watercolor journey. Obviously, maybe not the mainstay, but I just want you to feel comfortable with the fact that blending opposites or blending secondaries and so on and so forth is such a wonderful way to explore color. So instead of thinking about the fear and worrying about the idea of possibly creating mud, let's flip it and think about the fact that we can actually create wonder. So it's not creating mud anymore, friends, okay? We're creating wonder, wonderful colors that we could never have dreamed of if we hadn't done the crazy experiment that Kristy made us do, right? Now, I will say this. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I think you should rinse your brush less when you're experimenting on this journey. Reason number 5, a dirty brush isn't as dirty as you think. Okay, think about this. You start adding layers of color to your brush, you're not rinsing in between. Those colors aren't mixing perfectly together on the brush, creating that dreaded muddy color. They're kind of layered in. The first color is deepest into the brush, the next color, and so on. So as you release the color from that brush, let's say you continue painting until the colors completely run out. You're going to notice new colors appearing as you run out that brush. So remember, your brush isn't as dirty as you think. Number 4, your brush has a ton to teach you, especially when it's a little dirty from time to time. Your brush can teach you everything you need to know about the blessed color wheel. So this isn't a color theory video, so you can go look it up a little bit, but if you're new to color mixing, learn about color opposites, secondary colors, tertiary colors, and so on. It's all happening on your dirty brush. Those muted colors that you're making with the dirty in between of 2 colors, they're perfect for shadows and linear details. They're made essentially from a muddy mix. Number 2, truly muddy, dull, uninteresting color actually takes a lot of work to happen in your paintings. You've really got to fuss, and really kill it for a while to get a truly unremarkable color on the page. So don't worry about those muddy colors too much, okay? And reason number 1 that you need to rinse your brush less. The fear of mud is holding you back. Just like any fear, it paralyzes you. So if you're constantly worrying about not making mud on your paper, you're not going to be as free to experiment and make exciting decisions as you paint. So let go of the fear, friends. And hopefully this little crazy experiment knocked that fear right the heck out of you. Okay, friends, now it's time to quote unquote clean that palette up after you've made a non-muddy wonder mess. So go ahead and watch this video next so you can get everything nice and tidy without wasting a single drop of pigment. Until next time, friends, I wish you happy painting.